Hey, 1 second.
Just a little housekeeping. If you need to use the restroom, the bathrooms are in that yellow brick building right down here.
You got record.
So you can get up anytime. So we're going to go ahead and get started and get the show on the road. I'm so excited for tonight. But before we do anything, we're going to usher the presence of the Lord in this space. So I'm going to ask that you all bow your heads and close your eyes, please. Dear Heavenly Father, we come to you thankful for who you are and what you have done. We are thankful for the opportunity to fellowship and to honor how you turn tragedy into triumph. God, I ask that you continue in us a great work, and I speak nothing but victory and progress over this city. We have come a mighty long way, and because of you, I know we will go even further. And so, God, I ask that you make your presence known in this hour. I ask that this program move us in a way like never before, where we leave different than how we came in. Thank you, God, for this moment in time. Lord, I ask all these things in your mighty name. Amen. Amen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Ciara Smith, council member of Ward 3 and vice mayor of this city that I have the privilege of calling home, Anniston, Alabama. And I am honored to serve as your mistress of ceremony, and more importantly, I'm ecstatic to even be in the same space as the original freedom riders who played a key role in the transformation of this nation through protest, advocacy, and nonviolent strategies. It is no secret that we have come very far, yet we still have ways to go. And fortunately for us, the blueprint has already been set. The Freedom Riders taught us that no matter how long or tough the journey may be, freedom is a must. It is absolutely necessary. It is most importantly our constitutional right. Today we pay homage to the legacy of young people who were determined to see segregation, bigotry, and systematic racism. Because of them, we are. Because of them, we can. 60 years later, and the revolution continues. So sit back, listen, and enjoy. We have so much in store for all of you tonight. Now let's get started.
Woo!
At this time, I would like to ask Taryn and the Freedom Riders musical group to come up here for a musical selection. Let's give them a hand as they come up to the stage.
Hi everybody, how you doing? My name is Richard Allen. I am the writer and co-music writer of the musical Freedom Riders, the civil rights musical that has been presented off Broadway and won some awards and stuff like that. We are so excited to be here. We've been filming all week so we can present the musical with the National Monument. And it's been such a fantastic ride being here and seeing what is happening in this area when it comes to the dedication to the legacy of the Freedom Riders, which is so important that not only that we ground, but that we also make aspirational for the future generations so that they can follow in those same footsteps to fight the injustice that is in the world. So we're so very happy to be here. So honored to be in front of Charles and seeing my buddy again, not on Zoom, but actually in person. And we're gonna bring up Mr. DeMille.
If there is
And come up
instrumental break, I'll give you a thumbs up. Thank you.
The song you're going to hear is gonna be a fun song for Charles because this song is called Tell Them Something. And if you know anything about the Rise, there is one point where there was what we'll call a shoe-in. And this was a moment where a shoe-shine chair was desegregated. And that's part of Charles' legacy and Joe Perkins. And when we heard about that, we thought, okay, they were desegregating everything they came in contact with. And we just knew that this was a song that we had to write. So I will introduce DeMille Cole-Hurd, who will be singing Tell Them Something from Freedom Riders.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much. What a privilege it is to be here. I'm so excited, and I do this in tribute to Mr. Hank, Mr. Charles, and all those brave individuals that we stand on the shoulders of. Listen here, brethren, freedom waits for no man, so whether you sit, stand, or swing, with body and soul, tell them something. Can we have some finger snaps out there? Let's celebrate the legacy of those incredible individuals. Every action, move your feet. Put one shoe in front of the other. With each step, you'll get a little further. Change your turn to every. Watch us move while standing still. Walking while we run uphill. Whether you sit, tell them something. Whether you stand, tell them something. Whether you swing, tell them something. Because something's better than nothing. You better tell them something. That's exactly what it is.
I'm sorry.
Let's get ready to tell them something. Tell you traveling to the south. Segregation's waiting there. Straight into the devil's lair. We have a right as citizens. We deserve to live, and we can no longer be happy with what they give. So whether you sit, tell them something. Whether you stand, tell them something. Whether you shoot, tell them something. Because something's better than nothing. You better tell them. But something's better than nothing. You better tell them something. That something's better than nothing. You better tell them something. Something's better than nothing. You better tell them something. Something's better than nothing. You better tell them. Can't waste no time. Something's better than nothing. You better tell them something. Something's better than nothing. You better tell them something. Something's better than nothing. You better tell them something. Something's better than nothing. You better tell them something. Tell them something.
That was amazing. Can you all hear me? We're good, we're good. That was amazing. I wish I could sing. I would get up here and do a little two-step for y'all.
Woo!
So now, next portion, I'm excited about this part. I wrote a little quote to kind of set the stage for these amazing leaders that are a part of my life. Leadership sets the tone for the direction of any matter at hand. These next few speakers are all examples of quality leadership and individuals who have really set out to make a difference. Now, this one right here is super special to me. First, I would like to welcome someone who I have the privilege of serving alongside, someone who has dedicated his life and career to helping others. And I don't say it as much as I should, but I do admire his tenacity and ability to withstand. The man with a plan in this city, and the one who lets me boss him around every now and then. Let's welcome Mayor Jack Draper.
Woo!
Thank you, Ciara. And she actually bossed me around a whole lot more. I'm living proof of that. But how about Ciara Smith, y'all?
Woo!
This is incredible. Well, good afternoon, y'all. And welcome to Anniston, a place not only rich in history, but dedicated to preserving that history for generations to come. And especially dedicated to teaching about this pivotal moment in the civil rights movement. That's why I'm so very proud to say again that Anniston, Alabama is home to the only national monument solely dedicated to the Freedom Riders. We're thrilled that the National Park Service, our nation's storyteller, is telling this story. To the Freedom Riders, we thank you for your courage, your selflessness, and your dedication to that noble cause, which really opened a nation's eyes to the struggle for civil rights. This national monument will ensure that your contribution to humanity will never be forgotten. This moment, which occurred right here today, 6 years ago, was an important one in our history. A moment that not only changed Anniston for the better, but also our great country and the world. This is why it's so important that we remember the Freedom Riders and teach future generations about them and what they achieved. The lessons they taught us simply must live on. We must always strive for change and improving the lives of all. That is what the Freedom Riders did. We honor them not only by remembering them and thanking them, but y'all, let's follow their example. Let's follow their leadership. Now, I think this is the third time that we've done this, and this continues and remains an important day for Anniston. A day where, again, first and foremost, we honor the brave Freedom Riders and thank them for helping make Anniston and this world a better place. But, we also need to recognize and give thanks for the economic engine that this national monument is providing. It's an engine born out of their sacrifice and selflessness, and one that will benefit generations to come. This is truly a day for celebration. Let's show the world not only how far we've come, but also how far we can go. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Draper. Now, this one right here is a gem. I remember her words to me when I first told her I was running for office, and she said, "They say I'm too old, and they say you're too young, but do it anyway, because that's what women do." She is our state representative who has been serving our state for decades and responsible for establishing the Freedom Rider Park Board that is largely responsible for tonight's event. I am honored to introduce State Representative Barbara Boyd.
Good evening.
Some time ago, as I would ride back and forth to the University of Alabama, it was probably some of those years that I would pass by the ground, going and coming. Later on, going to Miles College, around 2:09 and 2:10, I looked over there one day, and I said, "Oh my goodness, what can we do about this? Then, guess what? I said, why not? Why not establish a board? Get up, board. You got to get up. These people you're looking over here are super. The young lady who's going to come and assist me is really responsible. She's the county attorney. Would you believe it? I encouraged her. Go on to law school, girl. All right. Let's give her a hand. All right. Woo! All my board members, come on. I got 2 minutes. Start this way, and she's going to give you one of these little bags. Come on before I get in trouble, you know. And where's Mitch, my good friend that always calls me trouble, even before the late Congressman Lewis. So, Mitch, I want you to add the word good to that now because I'm trying to do some good trouble, okay? The young lady over there sitting in that wheelchair, we got something coming for you. It's not ready. In memory of your late husband. I don't want to be emotional, but going back when we really had trouble, they stepped in and made a whole newspaper spread, and what happened? People began to change. I remember that. So we salute you, Mrs. Josephine Harris. Woo! I don't know if there's anybody here from the Noble family or not. No, but we can't forget them. The boss is telling me to move on. How much more time I got? All right. I see standing over to my right, the city council people. Please come on up. That's why I kept the mayor here. And I see some over there. Come this way. There's on that side. Okay. I got a few more minutes. All right. The Harbor family are seated in that section. Get up for us quick, and he's going to bring yours. The frame picture in front of that one goes to the city of Anniston too, and we've got one coming for you for the heirs and for the Noble family. It's not ready. Okay, let's see. Where's Mayor Hopkins? Oh, I would have to get her. She's one of my students. Where?
I think she had to leave, yeah.
She may have gone to Hopkins City. Okay. I think I've done it. I'm not sure. Oh, by the way, if I omitted anybody, and I know that's easy to do, please don't get on the telephone. Just call me, and we will do it and get it done. Because I did not. Between Montgomery, Miss Lee Centel, please. And he brought with him, all right, Chris, do you not see one for Chris Butch who's standing on that's, all right, I don't know which side it might be, but we'll find it because my minutes are going. Yeah, did you see it? No, ma'am. Well, it's around somewhere. All right. Okay, where is my county commissioners who first came on board with me? I'm sorry. Remember now, my minutes are going. Commissioner Wilson? Why? Who's my neighbor? Yes. Who's been with me all the time. And so, Ciara, he lets me boss him sometime too. Okay. We're going to find the others. They're around here, maybe still in my car. All right. Well, the mayor of House and City, they told me she left. Okay, it wouldn't be me if I didn't end with a quote. I got students out there, and they know that was my thing. I think the best one for us to say today is that last stanza, Robert Frost, I believe, stopping by the woods on a snowy eve. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but we have promises to keep. And miles, come on y'all, before we sleep. And miles to go before we sleep. Thank you, God Almighty, for allowing me to see this day.
Woo! Good job, Dr. Boyd.
I really love her. I really do. Thank you, Representative Boyd, for those words. And thank you for us bringing up Reverend Nobles. This is not a part of the agenda. However, he just gave me a statement that he has written to us. Reverend Nobles is 99 years old, and unfortunately he couldn't be here today, but he did write us something. He said, "It is good that we are celebrating today what happened 60 years ago on this very place, where good and evil, love and hate met head on. In a cruel battle, good and love triumphed over evil and hate. But the battle was vicious and costly. Brave young men and women with almost unbelievable courage risked their lives. By the sheer grace of God and aided by angels of mercy like Janie Forsyth, some of them survived. 60 years ago, a whole system of racism was under attack. Hank Thomas and Charles Person were in the forefront where the struggle was most violent. That they and many others survived by the grace of God. Today, 60 years later, it is right and fitting that we recognize and honor them as we stand on the ground made holy by their unrelenting courage." Dr. J. Phillips Noble. That gave me chills, so I'm trying to get myself back together. Now, this man will drop almost anything and everything to help this city. I've seen it myself. From infrastructure to putting in time and lots of money into our children. I could go on and on about the humanitarian that he is and the excellence that he exudes. He is a retired educator and retired military veteran. Help me welcome our very own Commissioner Fred Wilson.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Since the protocol have already been established, I bring you greetings from the Calhoun County Commission, where we serve approximately 115 to 120 citizens. Our goal is to improve the quality of life for all our citizens. The Anniston Star wrote a beautiful story about the bus burning and the freedom rides. These stories need to be told to our young people and their children. The question is often asked, where were you that Easter Sunday when the bus burning occurred here in Anniston? I remember it clearly. I was a student at Alabama A&M University in Huntsville, Alabama. Earlier that semester, I took a class called American Literature with a student named Vivian Malone, who left A&M and later enrolled at the University of Alabama with James Hood. You see, they were the first to integrate the University of Alabama in 1963. But that's another story. In my opinion, these stories need to be told. When growing up as a young boy in rural Talladega County, my grandmother would tell stories, ghost stories, around the fire. After the story was told, I would ask her, "Where were you, grandmother, when this happened?" She would say, "Son, that's another story." I want to leave each of you today with just one tag Every chance you get, tell your story. Tell your story. Stories need to be told.
Huh? Could you pick up the iPhone so this stuff back?
Thank you, Commissioner Wilson. Now, last but definitely not least, a man that goes above and beyond in his efforts to make Freedom Riders Monument a reality. He is the superintendent of the Freedom Riders National Monument and Birmingham Civil Rights Monument. He has served in this role for over a year and has been an excellent addition to our efforts here in Anniston. Please help me welcome National Park Service Superintendent Chris Butcher.
Well, it's really obvious that they didn't save the best for last, that's for sure. The worst for last would be an understatement. Mr. Thomas, Mr. Person, Ms. Ayers, the Noble, the Harbor family, and the countless others who were unable to be with us in person, but are absolutely with us in spirit, and the countless others who I won't even begin to start naming because I'm afraid I would leave someone out. It is an incredible and humbling to be asked to participate in honoring the Freedom Riders and the Freedom Rides and commemorating the 60th anniversary. Freedom Riders National Monument was established to foster reconciliation and racial healing by commemorating the stories, the places, and people involved in the 1961 Freedom Rides, a nonviolent campaign that brought national attention to the brutal reality of segregation in the South and forces the federal government to take action toward ending segregation in interstate travel. The effort to have this site established as a national park site was a monumental undertaking by countless individuals, groups, and governments at every level, many of whom are here today. To achieve our purpose as a national park site will require a similar effort, and I'm so thankful to each and every one of you who have helped us get this far and will continue to join us in our efforts as we work together to protect our nation's resources and tell our nation's stories. The future of Freedom Riders National Monument looks bright because of the constellation of support we receive from stakeholders like yourselves, and it will enhance the quality of our monument, of this monument, for years to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris. Now for the main event. I'm really excited for this next part of our program, the whole reason why we are here. When I think of change, resilience, determination, truth, and justice, I automatically think of these two men. I think of how my life could have turned out as a young Black woman if it had not been for them, their efforts, their willingness to change the trajectory of this nation for the better. There are no words that could even fully describe the impact or the sacrifice that was made on this very day 60 years ago. The courage that it took in the aftermath they had to endure because of their bravery. I can say thank you a million times on behalf of us all, and it will still not be enough. But we will strive daily to express our gratitude to these giants whose shoulders we stand upon today. It is my great honor to welcome back to Anniston our heroes, the two living original Freedom Riders who fortunately have come to see this city a little bit differently than they did 60 years ago. Let us stand and welcome Mr. Charles Person and Mr. Hank Thomas.
No, he's got a wireless. He's on wireless. You're good to go. Yeah, I turned the stage mic off.
I said. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Sometimes I find myself at Anniston even when I don't want to be here. Sometimes the memories are hurtful, and there are moments that I'm happy, especially in the latter years. Hands up. Don't shoot. Hands up. Don't shoot. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. When will it end, Anniston? When will it end? I think we have here today a nucleus that can start to change. And I'm going to be very brief because I've got an assignment for you to do. I want you to start a conversation. I want you to start a conversation with yourself. You need to ask yourself the good things that you do, the bad things that you do, who your friends are, who you dislike, what we can do to change. If we work on ourselves, then we talk to our kids and tell them what we want them to do, then we can heal this nation and heal this divide. But it starts with us. Each of us, we have a responsibility to work on ourselves. And I know we all have flaws, we all have imperfections, but it's time for us to start. And after you do these things, my request is very simple. Go out and make a friend. Then you must be a friend. And if we do that, Anniston, we will help this nation. We'll help the city. We'll help the state. That's all I have for you today. Woo!
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Look at you. How your mom and them?
Good.
I'm gonna tell you what Elizabeth Taylor told each of her 8 husbands. I won't keep you long. President Teddy Roosevelt, in his memorable point in the arena, said, "It's not the critic that counts, nor is it the one who will say of the doer of deeds, I could have done it better. And it's certainly not the individual who will point to the strong and say, see, he stumbles." No, the credit actually belongs to the one who is in the arena, who tries, fails, get up, tries again and again. The one whose face is covered with mud and blood, but keeps trying, because he knows that in the end, he will know the great enthusiasms of high achievement. But if he fails, he will fail while daring greatly. The freedom riders dared greatly, We dared greatly in Rock Hill, South Carolina. We dared greatly in Winnsboro, South Carolina. And we dared greatly here in Anniston. But we did not fail. We did not fail. Passage of the 64 Civil Rights Bill, the passage of the 65 Voting Rights Bill, we enjoyed the great enthusiasms of high achievement. My ride for freedom began May 1st, 1961. The plan was to test and force the Supreme Court decision of Wharton versus the state of Virginia that banned all form of segregation and discrimination in public transportation. And yes, we tried, we were knocked down, our faces were bloodied, but we got back up and we tried again and again. And as I said 60 years ago, we came to Anniston, and no, we did not fail. I'm happy to be back in Anniston today to take a victory lap and to know that my great-granddaughter Lily will not have to have gone through what I had to go through.
Amen.
Brianna Taylor, please say her name. Brianna Taylor.
Brianna Taylor.
George Floyd, say his name.
George Floyd.
Say the names of all of the black women and men who have been murdered by racist police officers. And yes, there is much work to be done. They can no longer breathe, so let us breathe for them. Let us breathe for them. I want you to take to the streets peacefully, not like the Republicans in Washington. I want you to take to the streets and let there be no peace in this country till justice rolls down like a mighty stream, till our police departments have changed to be the protectors of all people, black and white. 60 years ago, we took to the street. We rode the buses. Today, young people, it is your turn. And I urge you to follow the late Congressman John Lewis. I want you to make some trouble, make good trouble, get in good trouble, the necessary trouble that is necessary to change. When I boarded that bus 60 years ago, I wasn't searching for my American dream, my elusive American dream, the dream that states that all men are created equal and that they are due dignity and respect. Today, after 60 years, that dream of all has not tarnished. Today, it has lost neither its tone or its tint, and it stands a glimmering through the veils of yesteryear. And that dream waxes a wondrous beauty that is coaxed by smiles and watered by the tears of joy and triumph. Of the 7 freedom riders that were on that bus, I am the only one that is still alive. I have raised my glass to their memories, for memories all that I have left of them now. And memories do not leave like people do. They always stay with you. And it is in the evening of my memories that I visit some familiar places. I come to Anniston, go to Birmingham, I go to Montgomery, and I stop by Selma, Lord Selma. Always in my dreams, it takes me back to St. Augustine and to Jackson, Mississippi. And sometimes I listen vainly and I can hear old familiar songs. There's the music of my youth, the freedom song. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. Keep your eyes on the prize. And the song that has become the anthem of oppressed peoples everywhere. We shall overcome. In 1961, I was in the springtime of my life. The music was still in me. A song was yet to be sung. Yesterday, when I was young, the taste of life was as sweet as honey on my tongue. Today, I'm an old man in my 80s. But yesterday, Lord, I was young. Today, I am a man in full. I am a man that is deep in the autumn of his years. I'm the grandfather of 4 and the great-grandfather of 1. I savor the American that they will inherit. I wear a smile of satisfaction knowing that my generation of the sit-ins and the freedom riders and the Freedom Summer volunteers and civil rights activists were engaged in the Great American Revolution, an unnamed civil rights revolution that changed this country forever. Yes, the country has turned over many times in my lifetime, from my being refused service at a McDonald's restaurant to owning 9 McDonald's restaurants. From being denied a hotel room here in Anniston to owning 4 Marriott hotels. From only 1/10% of African voter registration to the election of an African American as president. The arrests, the police beatings, the terrorist attacks, beautiful and ever-present deaths struggles that we face. We paid the price for freedom. Today, I say to you that it won't be long, and I know it, that I must cross that river and conjoin with my ancestors of the Middle Passage. When I'm summoned to come before the village elder, give accounts of my time here, I will recite 2 Timothy. I will tell them that I fought a good fight. I completed my course. And I hope there is for me in all of the freedom riders a crown of glory. That great angel Gabriel will say to us, well done, well done. And when they ask me, why was I arrested 22 times? Why was I sentenced to 6 months in the Mississippi Penitentiary? Why did I join the Freedom Riders? And I will answer them in the countrified vernacular of my grandfather. I will say, I see something wrong, and I've done something right.
We developed a lot of friendship. Out of the 436, over the years, we've got to know each one of them. And we work together in this city, in Auburn, throughout the state of Alabama, Texas, Georgia. We've done it all. But my friend Bill Harbour, Dr. William Harbour, we did a lot of things together. And Bill made it fun because he always said, we got to do it for the children. We got to do it for the children. And the thing is that his thoughts are like mine, is that if we let the kids know what happened on this day and how things have changed and how they can make a difference, how they can change the world. And we went through all levels of understanding. But Bill also made sure that when we perform, when we've had a presentation, that there are always good food around. And that always makes you smile. You get good people together, you got good music, good conversation, you can't beat it. I'm going to miss Bill, but I will continue his thing because he was my friend. And I know if you had known him, you would love him like I did.
Approximately 50% of all the Freedom Riders have passed away. But let me say this about Bill and the other Freedom Riders. They will never die. They'll simply get on the bus and ride away.
It's on.
Should be. Did you? It's the mute button.
Oh, she might have turned it off.
We're on now?
Yeah, she turned it off.
I just want to give them a round of applause one more time. And this is not a part of the program. And this happened in 1960. This is how powerful and impactful your legacy truly is. Someone like me standing in an elected official position, and because of you, I can do that. And I remember something you said, Mr. Thomas. You said, we're out to breathe for them when they're not breathing. And so when you cross that river, just remember I'll be breathing for you. So we have some pretty exciting things happening in here in the city of Anniston that Mr. Persons is going to introduce to you all. And I'm super excited about this concept. Mr. Persons, if you want to go ahead and take the lead on that.
When George Floyd was murdered, I was so upset, and I had to channel my anger in a positive way. So I got on the phone and I called Pete. I said, Pete, we know how to conduct peaceful, nonviolent demonstrations. We know how to work with the community to hold and exercise our First Amendment right. And out of that, Pete has put together a fantastic group of men and women, and we formed the Freedom Riders Training Institute, which purports to develop a curriculum where we can offer training and understanding between the various units in our community, between law enforcement, first responders, demonstrators, and educators. We have to start somewhere. The time is now, and I think Anniston has the history. It showed that change can come about, and it can come about peacefully. We can discuss these things without animosity and without bitterness. Yeah, you'll get mad, you'll get angry, but you'll get over it, and we will be better for it. So, as of this week, the Freedom Riders Training Institute is a reality. We've not only got developed a curriculum, but also we got a building where we can get it fixed and furbished. We'll have a place to meet and we can discuss these things, and we can have our truth and reconciliation, because that's what's needed. And I think Anniston can provide that.
Now, if you'll look over to your right, my left, that is actually where the Freedom Riders Training Institute will be in the next coming years. So none of these amazing things could happen without this next speaker. He is JSU's Director of University Development. He has worked tirelessly to raise money or fundraising for many projects at JSU. And now he is helping to establish the Freedom Riders Training Institute program. Let's welcome Mr. Earl Warren.
What about our mistress of ceremony?
Woo!
I just tell you, just soaking in all of the history that I'm around today with Mr. Thomas and Mr. Pearson. And I tell you, I've been around Charles a lot, but hearing Hank and his story, I mean, it's so moving, and just the vision that you get when they talk about what happened 60 years ago to this day. I mean, it's incredible, and something that I'll continue to carry that in my heart and hopefully pass it on to those that are younger than myself. But yeah, for Jacksonville State University, I'm here representing the university, and the university is excited about the curriculum development for the Freedom Riders Training Institute, but we're also excited about being able to allow a giving link that people can continue to support this effort as well. We have set up a link. If you want to test it out, you can from your cell phones. You can just dial 91999, and you can also put in the subject area there, you can put in driving change, and that will give you the opportunity to support the Freedom Riders Training Institute. We're excited about it. Being in the development office at the university, we're going to be continuing to work to develop opportunities for foundations all over the world to support this initiative. This is going to be a pearl that will be a part of the Civil Rights Trail, and I'm excited about that. So this is a wonderful opportunity for us, for the university to be a part of such an initiative as this with the Freedom Riders tagline on it. It's just I can't even describe it, Pete, but excited about the opportunity. Being a young black man in this area as well, it resonates home to me. So I'm going to do all I can to do all that the university, put the university in a situation to make this something that will be great going forward. So I'm all on board. The university's on board, and we look forward to great things to come with this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Warren. Now, a couple of days ago, I had the privilege to break bread with this young man who is fly and talented. Coming all the way from Los Angeles, he is a very known architect and urban designer and serves as the Director of Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion for the ZGF Architects, and he is here to help prepare a place right here in our city for many things, including the Freedom Riders Training Institute. Now let's give a warm welcome to Mr. Steve Lewis.
Sarah, you are the future of. I really don't know what to say after the lessons we just heard. The struggle. My father was an architect, very rare at the time, black architect. And as a teenager and oldest son, I witnessed firsthand the resistance to even accepting the notion that a black man or woman could be an architect. Why I went into it after learning all of that, beyond me. Well, it does make sense because it's brought me to this moment, this place. And I have been enjoying a relationship with the Freedom Riders Park Committee and now the Training Institute folks for a good amount of time now. Vision takes time. Vision takes work. Perhaps most importantly, vision takes money. I think we've got a consensus that the idea of a home, a place, that we didn't go out to a greenfield site and decide to build a new building for the Training Institute. We wanted to hear the stories that these walls could tell. If these walls could talk, what would they tell us? What could we learn from it? What will we learn from it? And with a new interior that provides a safe place for reconciliation, for conversation, for taking the principles and the sacrifices made by Charles and by Hank and the others and paying homage and honor to that, by moving ourselves and our society forward in unison. We know that we've got challenges among us, and this notion of dealing with each of us as ourselves first, Charles, to understand, look in the mirror and say, why not? Why not shed these old shackles? Why not breathe new life into our humanity? Why not everyone be a part of that? those of us who've been enjoying in the struggle, you want to talk about black joy in the face of all of this? We've got it, because that's a lesson that we can teach. So I'm not even talking about architecture, but I guarantee you that when this project is done and you walk in there, your jaw will hit the floor, you will be speechless, and you will see, feel, smell, hear the memories, not only of what these walls can give us, but what all of these people who have sacrificed so dearly to bring us to this point will have in that air, in that energy. So I'm just humbled. My firm, ZGF Architects, are looking for a way to touch this lightning rod and to feel themselves what we all know and feel as black people growing up here, and to really get on board, get on the bus. So I encourage all of you to make your choice and make your decision to be part of all of that, and to be here with us in another few years, hopefully when this is all real, and we can have an even better celebration. So thank you very much. Enjoy the spirit.
So as you can see, we have so many amazing things happening here in the city of Anniston. One of them being the construction of our new federal courthouse. Excitingly enough, we have federal judge Corey Mays, who in 2019 was appointed to serve as our federal district judge in the courthouse on Noble Street and oversees the construction of the new courthouse right here on Gurnee. I am pleased with his efforts and involvement within this city. Let's welcome the Honorable Judge Corey Mays, who will give us an update on this project.
I have never once in my life been introduced as fly or talented, but I am very blessed to get to stand here in front of all of y'all today and to talk about what we're doing. I'm not worried if you're looking at me, so if you don't mind, if you want to stand up right now, I want everybody to look that way down Gurnee, and I want to tell you what this street is going to look like in about 1 year's time. So if you look on your right, you see the Freedom Riders National Monument, the yellow brick building, and you know the Institute's going to be on your left here. But my story to you today, my message is, the Freedom Riders Monument and the Civil Rights Trail doesn't end on the 1000 block of Gurnee Avenue. We are intentionally building this new federal courthouse to include the history of Anniston and the Civil Rights Trail into that as well. If you look there on the front corner, there will be a pavilion. We will have interpretive signage all the way down that block, going into the building, telling the story of this city, telling the story of what has happened here on this street in downtown. And we've been very blessed to be working with the federal government and the city. Y'all can sit back down now. I just hope we get time to stand up. But it has been my honor to be a part of that. I got to come home. I'm from this area, so I moved back, and it has been a blessing for me to get to help build that and watch the city grow back downtown. And the other good piece of news that I get to tell you is this. We are on schedule. We haven't missed a single day due to COVID. And here's the big thing. I truly believe we're going to be having a grand opening ceremony for that courthouse about this time next year. And every single one of you is invited to come to that one too. So thank you all for having me.
We have to make sure the sound is right. Next, we have a man who makes things happen. He is the Regional Director of the Conservation Fund, an organization critically important in the acquisition of the Greyhound bus station, the mural building, and the bus burning site on the old Birmingham highway. Coming from Atlanta, let's welcome Mr. Andrew Shaw.
Thank you for allowing me to be here today. Before he was president, Mr. Obama said, change will not come if we wait for some other person for some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. I'm humbled and proud to be in the presence of those who've made change happen. What a beautiful afternoon. I'm Andrew Shaw. I'm with the Conservation Fund. And I'd like to remember the partnerships that made the Freedom Riders national monument. The Friends of the Freedom Riders Park had a vision. The city of Anniston owned the bus depot. Calhoun County owned the location where the bus was burned. President Obama wanted to commemorate the people who risked their lives here. The National Park Service was charged with making it happen. And the Conservation Fund was asked to facilitate the transactions. So I'm sitting in my office one day, and Pete Conroy calls and says, we have an opportunity to make the vision come alive. Not long after, the National Park Service called me and said, we don't have a project yet. Can the Conservation Fund pay for it? And finally, we were asked to take ownership for a brief fraction of time because the bus depot needed to be transferred from a nonprofit organization to the National Park Service. It all sounds simple, right? There were many meetings to work out the logistics, but never, ever did the partners say it could not or should not happen. And when the building, we call it the mural building, became available, the National Park Foundation found the funding to finance the Conservation Fund's purchase. We now own the building and lease it to the city so they can utilize a National Park Service grant to stabilize and refurbish it. Without partnerships and without relationships, we would not be celebrating today. Increasingly, I'm struck by examples of personal courage, and I'm honored to be in the midst of some of the most courageous. I look forward to working with you all as we continue efforts right here in Alabama to protect the forgotten places and the people who showed us such personal courage. Thank you.
How y'all feeling? Y'all all right? All right. So now these two individuals who are doing some awesome projects, including the production of a documentary called The Hallowed Grounds. They are filming tonight and will tell us about their work with the Freedom Riders and making sure that this story is told. Now allow us to welcome Marlon Johnson and Stephen Vosberg.
Well, we are honored to be here, and we drove this bus over here. This is a 1953 PD 4104 Greyhound bus. We drove this down from St. Louis to honor the Freedom Riders, to honor Hank and Charles and the Harbor family. And Reggie, just say hello real quick. This bus belongs to our friend Reggie over here. Charles, the buses, they're still a coming, right? This bus symbolizes the journey forward, and this is the American dream and the promised land and everything that we want for our future. And Hank, we did bring a fire extinguisher on this bus. I know that was important, but we do have one. And I'm going to turn this over to Marlon. Marlon is directing a documentary called Hallowed Grounds. And this, everyone, you're standing in hallowed grounds right now. This is a sacred place because of Hank Thomas and Charles and Bill Harbor. And I'm going to turn this over to Marlon.
Thank you, Steve. It's such a pleasure to be here. I'll keep it brief. Steve invited me to the project not too long ago, and I immediately said I'd love to be a part of it. These are some of the American heroes that everyone needs to understand, and if you don't, you should. And we hope that our story and our storytelling will do it justice. And for anyone who hasn't been on the bus, please take a tour. It's wonderful, and thank you for having us.
Sorry, y'all, I'm getting a little old, so my legs don't work as fast as they used to. I made myself laugh. I have heard so many amazing things about this next speaker. He is currently serving his 5th term in the Alabama Governor's Cabinet. He is the director of Alabama's Department of Tourism and Travel and is responsible for the establishment of the National Civil Rights Trail. I am excited to welcome Mr. Lee Sutell to the stage, who is already here.
She's sounding tired. Honey, I've got shoes older than you. How many of you have shoes older than she? Tell me better than amen. Yeah. What energy. The energy that we heard tonight from these 2 veterans make me feel confident that 10 years from now, on the 70th anniversary, both of these gentlemen are going to be with us again. Alabama has something that no other states have. It has not 1, but 2 freedom rides museums. And I have sort of a tremor when I think about the freedom rides that y'all rode, the buses on. Mr. Person, now what's the name of your book?
Buses are coming. Buses are coming.
What is it?
Buses are coming. Buses are coming.
Yeah.
Buses are coming. Oh, yeah.
And I want to point out Dorothy Walker, who went to Jacksonville State University. She is the director of the Civil Rights, Freedom Rights Museum in Montgomery. And she approached my office. She's the historical commission. She approached my office a couple of years ago and said, if we could find a bus, would y'all read your story? And I thought, she'll never find one. So I said, oh, yeah. And then she said, buses are coming. Oh, yeah. I said, okay. I think we're ready to have a reveal. Okay. Let's have a reveal right behind you. Dorothy, bring them on. This is Dorothy's toy. This was his first trip today to Anniston. His first trip. Buses are coming. You can't have freedom rides to see
Before we start exploring this amazing bus, because we're going to do that right, we're going to wrap this program up. We'll take a seat. No, it's exciting. It's exciting. If we'll just all take a seat real quick, and then we'll go explore it together. All right, y'all. I'm about to introduce our last speakers. Fine. Which is exciting, because they have something exciting to show us in just a few. These 2 speakers played pivotal roles in the amazing film documentary that you will all have the privilege of viewing in just a few. This project is very special to me because I had the wonderful honor in being a part of it and know and love so many individuals who are featured in it as well. Let's give a warm welcome to Phil Hutchinson, the interim director of Alabama Public Television and a supporter of tonight's documentary, as well as Seth Johnson, the head of JSU's art department and director of this film.
Thank you, Sierra. I'm going to tell you what Elizabeth Taylor told her 8 husbands. I think I'm going to use that in the future. So I'm not going to keep you long. So I'm actually, as Sierra mentioned, I was the CFO and legal counsel for Alabama Public Television for several years. The director retired right before COVID hit, so I've been the interim director for 16 months now. But I'm thrilled to be here on the 60th anniversary, and I'm especially thrilled, personally, to be able to meet 2 of the original Freedom Riders. You guys give me chills, so thank y'all so much for being here. We're honored to be airing the documentary tonight, which is truly an Alabama story. And APT has been telling Alabama stories since 1955. We hooked 2 stations together. It became the nation's very first public television network. And those 2 stations, Birmingham and Mount Cheahaw, which I think most everybody around here will pick up Mount Cheahaw as your APT station. Now we've grown into 9 stations around the state, and we cover 97% of the state with an over-the-air signal, meaning you don't have to have cable or internet to get our signal, and it's free, and we're very proud of that. So we certainly want to keep it that way. Now, the documentary tonight came from our partnership with Longleaf Studios in Jacksonville State, which is run by Mr. Seth Johnson here. And Seth is of course, the producer of this film, but also we have a partnership with JSU that we'll be doing at least 2 documentaries a year from JSU that we'll be airing on APT. So we're also very proud of that. So the documentary that you're about to see will air on APT tonight at 8:30. We'll also air again on Sunday night if you don't get a chance to see it. If you don't get home in time to see it tonight, it'll be on Sunday at 5 o'clock. And then you can also go to our website, aptv.org, and you can stream it at any time. So, at this point, I want to go on and introduce Seth Johnson, and particularly thank Seth for all his work on this documentary. It was a yeoman's task, and he did a really good job. And again, telling this from an Anniston and Alabama perspective, instead of from a national perspective, and we very, very much appreciate that. So, Seth.
Those of you that know me, I'm so much more comfortable on that side of the camera. I am not a public speaker, but I want to thank a number of people for allowing and trusting me in this opportunity. First, JSU, we have several administrators here. I want to thank them for letting me take this on. Obviously, we have a number of people I want to thank that were instrumental in telling the story. First, Mr. Person, thank you so much for giving us your time, allowing us into your home. We had such adversity while we were working on this film. We started it in the middle of a pandemic. We had the murder of George Floyd during all this, and we knew that we had such an important message, just beyond freedom rights. We had to tell a bigger message about what was going on in our country. So there was a lot of important things that we needed to talk about. So I had a number of really important people that I want to thank that were instrumental in helping us tell that story. First, Mr. B. Conroy. Ms. Josephine Ayers. Ms. Georgia Calhoun. And last but not least, we spent so many hours together on Zoom meetings, making sure we had things right. Ms. Teresa. So many different faces that are in this film tonight. Literally, there's 20 different people, and I can't name them all, but it's a great story. I want to leave you with the description before
we start. It goes like this. On May 4th, 1961, an integrated group of 13 freedom riders left Washington, D.C. on a peaceful mission to protest racial segregation on interstate travel. When the two buses arrived in Anniston, Alabama on Mother's Day, May 14th, a cruel and evil history was waiting to unfold. Fire in Anniston, a Freedom Rider story, is a compelling historical account of social injustice, fight for equal rights, and the reckoning of a small southern town that wanted the cruelty to end. Little did they know that the bravery of those young 13 visionaries kick-started a movement that was seen and heard all over the world. And once known for the violence that took place, Anniston is now redefining itself as a place for redemption and civil rights education. So hope you enjoy the film.
All right, y'all, we're at the end. So before we end this entire program, I just want to say we have about 20 minutes until we get the big screen up here and present this film to you all. In the meantime, we will have some drinks and some food in the back. I believe they'll be bringing it out, or we'll go in the room. Either way, we'll figure it all out together. And then we can also explore the Freedom Rider bus out here for the next 20 minutes. So my time as your mistress of ceremony has come to an end, and this has truly been an honor. And I meant every word I said about standing on the shoulders of giants. Because of you, I am. This generation that I am a part of has so much to learn, so much to learn. But I am thankful for an army of elders who leave great legacies, wisdom, and power. 60 years later, we have truly overcome. Thank you. Now we'll all end this together. This is on a whim. I'm going to ask Ms. Hall, Ms. Calhoun, Ms. Mumford, Gloria, and Ms. Maldine Holloway. Dr. Boyd, if you're out here, I don't see you anymore. We're going to get up and sing, lift every voice and sing together. And once we're finished, we're going to go enjoy.
That's one.